In the original version of this function, the argument was a list of numbers and the second was a threshold, and it produced a new list of numbers containing all of the numbers from the original list that were below the threshold. Now we are going to take a list and a threshold, and instead of producing a new list, this function will mutate the list argument. It will remove the numbers above the threshold, leaving only those below it. Then we need to update our test cases to reflect this change. In the original version of the test case, we were concerned about checking the return value. We checked to see whether the value actually returned by the function was equal to the one that we expected it to be. We can still check the return value to make sure that it is as expected. But it's not the only thing we're going to have to check for. So I'm going to use this name actual return and expected return. And this time we expect the return value to be none. We'll then check to see whether those two values are equal. But it's not the only bit of testing we need to do. We also need to check that the list given to the function is properly modified. So I'm going to make an actual list variable that will refer to the list 456, and we'll pass that as an argument to collect underperformers. We expect that the value that this list will refer to after the function has executed will be the empty list. All of the items above the threshold are removed, leaving only the underperformers, and there are none. Similar to what we did with the return values then, we will check to see that the actual list is the same as the expected list. To run this code, we need to make sure that we import unit test, which we use in our class definition. We also imported the function in collect mutation, so when we call on collect underperformers, we need to precede that function call with the module name. In addition, we need to call on unit tests main in order to have these test cases be executed. So I'll put a call to unit test.main in an if name equals main block. Now when we run it, we have our test case run. We've got one test method, test underperformers low threshold, and it fails. We have an F for failure. Our list was 456, and we expected to have the empty list. This is because we didn't actually implement the function. So your next task could be to implement this function and get your test case to pass.